All right, so in today's video reference, we're going to be solving polynomials. So in the last sections, we went through and we were able to add, subtract, and multiply polynomials, but now we're going to take polynomials equations and we're going to be able to solve them. But first, we're going to have to do something called factoring. And the way solving polynomial equations works is basically all based on this property called the zero product property. And what that states is basically if you multiply two numbers and set them equal to zero, that one of the numbers has to be zero. So let me show you an example of that. So if you see here, say you have like, I don't know, or right here, A times B equals 0, then you know either that one's 0 or that one's 0. So if you can factor a polynomial into two different factors, set it equal to 0, then you can make x equal to 0. That's that factor. So I would highlight that here in yellow. So this factor could be equal to 0, or this factor, x plus 2, could be equal to 0. So when you solve those two equations, you basically get x equals 0, or x could equal negative 2. So here's an example, the first one here. So it's already factored. You can't really do much more to that equation. So basically what you would write here is two equations. So either this is equal to 0 or this is equal to 0 if the whole thing is equal to 0. So you write, sorry, let me get a different pen here. X minus 4 equals 0, or just make sure you're copying this down, x plus 2 equals 0. So then you add 4 to both sides, so you get x equals 4, minus 2 to both sides, x equals negative 2. So that's the simplest version, but a lot of times your polynomials aren't completely factored. So this is kind of brand new to us here in 8th grade. So what is factoring? To solve a polynomial equation using the zero product property, you may need to factor the polynomial first. Or in other words, write it as a product of other polynomials, looking for the greatest common factor of the polynomials. This is a monomial with an integer coefficient that divides evenly into each term. So let's do a couple examples here. So if you wanted to factor this out, let's just look at the actual constants here, the coefficients. So can anyone think of a number that goes into 12 and 42? Yeah, 6. So you can pull out a 6. 6 times what is 12x? 2x plus 6 times what is 42y? That would be 7y. So that's one example of factoring. Sometimes you can actually not only factor the coefficients, but you can factor the variables too. So let's start with the coefficients. What number goes into 4 and 24? 4. And then let's look at what's a common factor. What's in common between x to the 4th and x to the 3rd? Yeah, you could actually pull out an x to the 3rd. So this would be x, and then plus 4 times what is 24? 6. And then we don't need the x cubed because it's right there. Okay, so that's some examples there. We'll turn off the video now and try to factor and solve.